Stories of War. World War III. Based on the song lyrics and poems of John Eaton. Good friends. It started with a whisper, strange movements near the border, convoys appearing where they shouldn't, encrypted messages intercepted by NATO intelligence. Then, the whisper turned into a roar on a bitterly cold January morning. Missiles struck key military installations in Latvia with devastating precision. The explosions lit up the sky over Riga, shaking the ground like an earthquake. Within hours, columns of enemy tanks rolled across the border, smashing through the first line of Latvian defenses. Fighter jets screeched overhead, dogfighting with the few Latvian pilots who managed to get their planes off the ground. Civilians ran for shelter as air raid sirens wailed across the country. Bridges were blown, roads were blocked, but the enemy forces kept advancing. Their orders were clear: take Latvia before NATO could react. But Latvia did not break. The world watched in horror. News channels broadcast footage of enemy armored divisions carving their way toward Riga. Would NATO intervene? The answer came within hours. In Poland, US and British troops were already mobilizing. Germany deployed tanks and air support. The French sent fighter squadrons. The Baltic states cried out for aid, and NATO answered with force. Within 48 hours, NATO's counteroffensive was in motion. Airstrikes hammered enemy supply lines, crippling their ability to reinforce the front. Special forces slipped behind enemy lines, sabotaging fuel depots and command centers. The enemy advance slowed, then stalled. The invasion had not gone as planned. On the outskirts of Riga, the Latvian 1st Infantry Brigade fought tooth and nail to hold the city. In the frozen forests and ruined towns, battles erupted at every crossroads, every bridge. Near the town of Valtierra, a NATO mechanized battalion clashed with enemy forces in a brutal engagement. Guided missile launchers took out their armor, while drones provided real-time intelligence, turning the battle into a high-tech chess match. But the enemy was not retreating. Yet. For every inch of ground NATO reclaimed, the enemy fought to take it back. The fields outside Riga became a graveyard of burnt-out vehicles and fallen soldiers. The world was on edge. Would this escalate into full-scale war beyond the Baltics? The enemy had one last chance. They dug in along the Daugavava River, setting up a final defensive line. Their artillery pounded NATO positions, but they were running out of time and supplies. Ukrainian partisans had sabotaged rail lines deep inside enemy territory, cutting off reinforcements. NATO forces had severed communication links, leaving enemy units stranded and confused. Then came the final assault. US and British paratroopers landed behind enemy lines, encircling their positions. A joint Polish-Latvian armored division surged forward, smashing through the last defensive strongholds. Enemy officers, seeing no hope of victory, began ordering retreats. Some units, isolated and exhausted, surrendered. By the end of the week, the enemy forces were in full retreat. Their once mighty invasion force had been shattered, their ambitions crushed. Riga still stood. Latvia was free. But the scars of war ran deep.